session on discussing UGC NET JRF paper for geography, June 2014. In this session, we would be discussing the questions forward from question 46. So the first question that we would be discussing today is about connectivity metrics. So in connectivity metrics, what is important is when we start this question, as we can see, C is related to other parameters. So we'll find out what are the parameters. Now C, as we can see, is related to A, B, D, and E. So there is one value for all of these, and there is zero value for this. Then you will have A. A would be related to D and B. So A would be related to B, C, and D. So you have B, C, and D. And similarly, we'll see E is only related to C. So E is only related to C. D would be related to A and C. D would be related to A and C. So this way we can find the connectivity matrix for this diagram. So that was the first question. We need to draw the connectivity matrix based on this. The next question here is, which of the following theory emphasizes on the policy-oriented concepts? So let's move on to the next question. The next question talks about policy-oriented concepts like propulsive firms, leading industries, and agglomerations. So all these concepts are covered under the growth pole theory. So under the growth pole theory, we try to find out which areas would be the center of economic growth and which areas would serve as the center for regional development. The next question talks about delineating a functional region. Now, as we know, regions are of various types. You have functional regions and formal regions. Delineation of a functional region, which is based on some function, is very important. So functional region can be delineated based on two basic techniques. That's the flow analysis and the gravitational analysis. So under these functional regions, what we try to do, we try to understand the concept of connectivity. Okay, so there are various things we understand in this. So first is the network analysis that we talk about, and second is the spatial analysis. So network analysis would include the origin and the destination metrics. And under the spatial analysis, we can talk about inverse distance weighted interpolations. The next question is on gravity analysis, gravity principle. So under the gravity principle, we know that if we are trying to identify a nodal region, the interaction between the geographical points would be a direct relation to their masses, mass 1 and mass 2. So the correct answer is A. Now the next question talks about number of regions delineated by various regional geographers. So here are the list of geographers and the number of planning regions as identified by them. So we know that Nath gave 15 regions, and these 15 regions were based on the concept of what we call homogeneity. So Nath gave 15 regions. So his regions were mainly based on homogeneity in physical characteristics, cropping patterns. Then you have Chandrasekhar, who gave 13 regions. His 13 regions were based on physical and ecological criteria. His concept was homogeneity of land. Then you have Bhatt and Rao. He gave 11 regions, and those were based on resource development. The next is Sen Gupta. He gave 19 sub-regions, and these were basically based on population resource. So these are the basic regions given by various scholars for planning. The next question is again on regional planning. Regional planning this time was an important section. So the next question, you have an assertion and a reason. Now we have to understand this concept. So planning concept or a planning region should be large enough to contain variety of resources as to serve a desired degree of economic viability. So that is a correct statement, because any planning region should be big enough to have certain conditions that it can fulfill within that region. So it should have various resource positions that are available, and those resource positions should be a combination of the consumption level and the exchange that is taking place within the region. So that means that region should fulfill its own requirement and should be sufficient in itself in terms of economy. The next question is again on planning. So you have the sub-plans on regional basis. This was given in which of the following plans? The correct answer is sixth five-year plan gave the concept of sub-plans on regional basis. The next question is, who among the following gave economic regions which were of different order based on the Soviet concept? So now this word itself gives you the answer. So the Soviet concept of economic regions and product specialization was given by P. Sengupta, and in this classification he gave 7 macro units and 42 meso units of classification or meso regions. So he classified the country into 7 macro regions and 42 meso regions, and his whole model was based on the Soviet concept of economic development and product specialization. The next question is calculating the literates or the growth in literates, which region or which state had the least growth in the number of literates in the 2001 census and 2011 census. So the lowest growth among all these 4 has been recorded in Nagaland at a growth of 6.02% from 2001 to 2011. So the correct answer is Nagaland. Now here, this is a question based on a simple logic. You just need to know which city is located where. So which of the places in India do not get vertical rays of sun? The correct answer in this case is Srinagar. So Srinagar is the region which is located around 34 degrees north, and it does not get the direct sun rays because the apparent movement of sun in the north goes only up to 23.5 degrees. So since it's 34 degrees north, it won't receive any vertical rays of the sun. The next question is, which of the following atomic power plants is located in Tamil Nadu? The correct answer is Kalapakkam. So Kalapakkam is a power station located around 70 kilometers south of Chennai, and this region receives a lot of, is the main center of atomic power energy. So this is again a direct question. Now this question, most of the questions in this section that we are discussing today are direct. Now this question, we need to know which of the following is not correctly matched. So what is important here is to read the word not. A lot of students just don't ignore this and then they get into that trouble. So Himadri is a part of Greater Himalayas, Shivaliks is a part of Outer Himalayas, both of them are correct, and Gondwana forms the Lesser Himalayas. Now the only incorrect choice is this. So Western Ghats are technically not the peninsular India. Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats lie on the side of peninsular India. So you have the peninsular India in center, and then you have Western Ghats on the west and Eastern Ghats on the east. The next question is, which of the following major seaports does not have a natural harbour? Now here are the 4 choices. Which of the following seaports in India does not have a natural harbour? The correct answer here is Paradeep. So Paradeep is the only port which is located in Odisha. It is an artificial lagoon type. So it's a lagoon type of harbour, and it is protected by breakwaters. So you have breakwaters on the side, and the whole of it is approached only by channels. So it is the only harbour which is artificially made. The next question is again based on regional development. The member of agroclimatic regions in India as per Planning Commission is. So Planning Commission divided the country into 15 agroclimatic regions, and that was the basic classification that Planning Commission is still using. The next question is about the mineral resource in India. So you have a list of mineral resources, list of states, and you have to find in which state was the main source of magnesium found. Now, before we start with this, It's important to understand the distribution of magnesium in India. So magnesium reserves, you have Odisha, around 33% of magnesium reserves is found in Odisha. Then you have Karnataka, that accounts for around 24%. Then you have MP or Madhya Pradesh, that accounts for 19 to 20%. And finally Maharashtra, again 19 to 20%. So these four are the major reserve centers for magnesium in India. Worldwide, India is the fifth largest producer of manganese, and that comes after Brazil. So Brazil is the first country, then is Gabon, then you have South Africa and Australia, and the fifth is India. So this is the sequence for finding of the magnesium ore in India. So with this, we cover the next 15 set of questions which were asked in the UGC examination for June 2014 for Geography Paper 3. We would be discussing the final set in the last lecture, and there we would also try to find out the analysis, which sections had higher importance, and in which sections there were conceptual or applicative sections which you need to understand more. So have a good day ahead. We'll see you in the next lecture.